What we have to do now is the victim card. They love playing that victim card, bro. They love playing that card. I don't know what it is.
She's the mayor of Lamar, South Carolina. Her name is Darnell Bird McPherson. She and her husband discovered she was in the middle of this never-ending battle just a week or so ago down in Lamar, South Carolina, when they came out to their car one evening and they noticed that, quote, the cars looked like someone had spray painted on both of their vehicles. During the 70s, crosses were burned in the yard of our home. My husband and I refused to be intimidated by those who perpetrated this act of vandalism, which I classify as an act of hatred. Then she went on to talk about how there's all these different bills in the South Carolina legislature. Sorry, that stuff that was on the mayor's car? Yeah, it wasn't paint, it wasn't a hate message. It was just a bunch of pollen.
One of the individuals of this brawl is this white woman. And this white woman is doing a media blitz. And she was on Benny Johnson. And of course, the tears. And he was like, oh, I'm a mother. And this is horrible. I wouldn't want this to happen to anyone.
Anyway, so here's the lady. Here's the fellas. They think visited this unbelievable level of violence upon this 80-year-old woman.
And we're talking about an 80-year-old woman. She's been going through physical therapy here for a broken leg that she got from a fall. She was celebrating, going from having to use a walker to just a cane before she was dragged down onto a curb face first.
Everything I could to avoid.
Right away, you'll notice the awful injury to Elizabeth Malcolm's left eye. She really wanted to hide it.
Yada, 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 yada. Now, of course, people are using her as just as much as they use the racist woman, mother who was at the park with her child.
Mother Nature created a plague that only affects white people.
They love the victim card, and they love giving, attention to their victims. Now, the role this woman played in the brawl is that instead of focusing on the white man who is the aggressor in this, she focuses on the black guy. And she's trying to hold the black guy and push him back and everything. And he's not doing anything. He's yelling, but he's not advancing. He wasn't advancing when he got smacked. But she's on him. And while she's doing it, she's on the ground. And of course, everyone, as they do, as all the racist propagandists do.
The Washington Post to the San Francisco Examiner to a newspaper for English-speaking people in Japan. Headlines, pictures. Someone hung nooses at Mississippi Capitol on eve of racially charged U.S. Senate runoff.
They fast forward to the point of her getting knocked on the ground, right? They fast forward towards the point of the black people retaliating. Because once again, in their minds, they're always a victim. Always a victim. They haven't done anything wrong. You can ask them, right? They'll say, hey, well, what we did colonial-wise was a good thing. What we did for the Africans, the slave trade, hey, it was a good thing.
It's important to study history so that you don't get complacent about your own time.
The story of the slaves in America begins with Christopher Columbus. His voyage to America was not financed by Queen Isabella, but by Louis de Santiago, who advanced the sum of 17,000 ducats, about 5,000 pounds today, equal to 50,000 pounds, to finance the voyage, which began on August 3rd, 1492.
Who's got the money? Who are the financiers? Who are the ones that are so wealthy in Spain and later Portugal? Well, the Sephardim, the Jews.
Columbus was accompanied by 5 Marranos, Jews who had forsworn their religion and supposedly became Catholics.
Italy. No, he's from Portugal. No, he's from Spain. Well, where is he really from? Well, they say that he was from Genoa, Italy, but his Italian writing is horrible, but his Castilian is perfect, So, so be it as it may, recently there is a growth, an exponential growth of discoveries that point to the fact that Christopher Columbus, first of all, his name is not Columbus. His real name is Salvador Zarco. All right, but now recently we've discovered that Christopher Columbus, Cristobal Colon, was known as a quote-unquote marrano. Marrano? The marranos are those that were forced to convert to Roman Catholicism, that were Sephardim, and then they were forced to eat pork, which is very unkosher, and then they were called marrano, pigs, swine, because you see the facade of the Spanish Inquisition. What is Inquisition? It comes from the root word to inquire. But this was more than inquiring. This was spying and forcing Jews to convert to Roman Catholicism.
Louis de Torre, interpreter, Marco, the surgeon, Bamal, the physician, Alonso de la Calle, and Gabriel Sanchez. The reference is The International Jew by Henry Ford. Gabriel Sanchez, abetted by the other 4 Jews, sold Columbus on the idea of capturing 500 Indians and selling them as slaves in Seville, Spain, which was done. Columbus did not receive any of the money from the sale of the slaves, but he became the victim of a conspiracy fostered by Bamal, the ship's doctor. He, Columbus, suffered injustice and imprisonment as his reward, betrayed by the 5 Marranos, or Jews, whom he had trusted and helped. This, ironically, was the beginning of slavery in the Americas. The source is Adventures of an African Slaver, published in 1928, page 11. The Jews were expelled from Spain on August 2nd, 1492, and from Portugal in 1497. Many of these Jews immigrated to Holland, where they set up the Dutch West Indies Company to exploit the New World.
They will always do these mental gymnastics to justify their behavior. That's the reason why they have the scripture, and they bastardize the scripture to justify their lineage of evil, because that's what it is. Evil begets evil, that begets evil, and you have a lineage, and that lineage is very present, very alive today.
Convicted of shooting a 5-year-old girl in the face, goes before a judge.
They shove her in the trunk and they drive away. They're caught on video shortly after getting gas, getting kerosene.
Police say the Runnels sisters and their crew drove her to this isolated industrial area of the Del Rey neighborhood.
The vehicle was found burning, and Angela, the victim, and she was burnt alive. The investigation by Detroit Police Department determined she was burnt alive at the time.
Police custody tonight, charged with first-degree murder in the killing of this 13-month-old little boy, Antonio. One suspect is 17.
CBS News and Fox News, but other major media wouldn't touch it at all. Aside from this one, no other major media outlets have reported the case. He said racism would certainly be one. Celebrity involvement would be another. But the coincidence of white victims and black perpetrators doesn't pass muster. Though the coincidence of white perpetrators and black victims might, because of its relative infrequency. He's just a white girl and he's a white boy, and they're just black guys who, well, they just did them, that's all. Not only they do them, they did them in a way that you wouldn't even see in Iraq. Where are the 2 megaphone reverends, Sharpton and Jackson?
What we have to do now is the victim card. They love playing that victim card, bro. They love playing that card.
I'm not lying. They bust motherfuckers in. And I was up there, and I looked at all the brothers, and it made my heart ache. You know, it's all these beautiful black men in the joint. Goddamn, warriors should be out there helping the masses. And I felt that way. I was real naive, right? In 6 weeks I was up there, I talked to the brothers, you know, and I talked to them, and thank God we got penitentiaries.
Hit her. Who does that to a child?